السلام عليكم. لا تنسوا الإعجاب بالفيديو والاشتراك في القناة.
You know that feeling when you're just throwing money at paid ads and kind of crossing your fingers hoping for the best? Yeah, it's super common. But hope, well, it isn't really a strategy. What you actually need is a solid framework to make every single one of those dollars count. And that is exactly what we're going to do today. Build a real, concrete blueprint for advertising that's not just profitable, but scalable. This right here, this is the question that probably keeps a lot of business owners up at night, right? You're putting in the work, you're grinding, but are your ads actually pulling their weight, or are they just an expensive guess? It's a totally frustrating feeling, but it's one we can absolutely fix. All you need is a solid plan. So we're officially done with guessing. Today, we start building. Think of this as the architectural plan for your ad success. We're moving away from just random tactics and into a structured, repeatable system that's designed to work not just right now, but well into the future. All right, so here's the game plan for how we're going to build this blueprint together. First, we have to lay the foundation, and that's all about trust. It's the most important piece. Then we'll get into a really critical choice. Should you lead with a direct offer or focus on building your brand? After that, we dive into the nitty-gritty, the 6-step plan for actually getting it done. And finally, we'll talk about how to make sure this whole system is built to last. Okay, first things first, before you even think about writing an ad or picking an image, we have to talk about the bedrock of this whole thing. Every single effective ad, every click, every sale, it's all built on one thing, a solid foundation of customer trust. And this quote, it just nails it. Your ads have to connect with a real, specific problem someone is having. So for example, imagine you run a recruiting service. A generic ad that says, "We find people." I mean, who cares, right? It's just noise. But what about an ad that asks, "Struggling to find a dentist to cover your weekend shifts?" Whoa, now that is a solution to a very real headache. That's what gets the click. Okay, so how do you actually build that trust? You do it with proof, and lots of it. In fact, here's a wild recommendation. Think about putting up to 80%, yeah, 80, of your creative budget into just proving you can do what you say you can do. We're not talking about a couple of text quotes here. We mean case studies, real video testimonials, data that shows actual results. Because think about it. Claims are easy to ignore, but proof is pretty hard to argue with. All right, let's jump into our next big piece. Once you've got that foundation of trust in mind, you have to make a huge strategic choice. Are you going to lead with a direct, buy now kind of offer, or are you going to play the long game and focus on building your brand? The right answer? Well, it depends entirely on your market. Okay, so this visual breaks it down perfectly. Let's look at the left side first, the offer-driven model. This is tailor-made for local businesses. You know, think about your local mechanic. They've already got a certain level of community trust just by being there. So they can go straight for a direct offer, something like a $19 oil change, to get you in the door right now. But now, look at the right side. If you're a national or an online brand, you don't have that built-in local trust. You have to earn it, piece by piece, usually with valuable content. You have to build a relationship before you can ask for the sale. So what's the big takeaway here? It's actually super simple, but so powerful. There's no one best strategy that fits everyone. The absolute fastest way to improve your return on investment is to figure out which camp you're in and pick the strategy, offer-driven or brand-driven, that matches your situation. Okay, so we've got our foundation, we've picked our strategy, now for the fun part, the actual how-to. This next section is the real heart of the blueprint, a 6-step framework you can literally start using today. This is it, the whole shebang, from start to finish. We're going to walk through each one of these, step by step, from figuring out what you want to achieve to understanding who you're talking to, all the way to tweaking your campaigns for the best results. This is your repeatable system. First up, step 1. You have to get crystal clear on what you're doing. And I mean, let's forget about vanity metrics like likes or impressions for a second. We need SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, are you trying to boost online sales by 25% this quarter, or maybe generate 500 qualified leads this month? Whatever it is, that one clear objective is going to be the anchor for every single decision you make from here on out. Okay, step 2. And honestly, this is where so many people drop the ball. They don't go deep enough into their audience. It's not just about age and location. It's about knowing if they're scrolling on their phone during their commute or researching on a desktop at work. It's about truly understanding the core frustration that keeps them up at night. When you know that, you can create ads that feel like they're reading your customer's mind. So you know who you're talking to. Step 3 is about where to find them. And each ad channel has its own superpower, right? If you need to grab people who are actively searching for a solution right now, you go to search ads. If you need to get in front of a very specific person, like say a 35-year-old architect who loves hiking, you use social media ads. And if you need to tell a bigger, more compelling story, that's where video on YouTube shines. All right, step 4, making the actual ad. And look, there are really just 2 golden rules you need to remember here. First, always lead with value. You need to answer your customer's silent question, what's in it for me? So focus on the benefits they get, not just the features you have. Second, test everything, relentlessly. Don't just guess what headline or image works best. Let the data from A/B testing, which is really just running 2 versions of an ad to see which one wins, tell you exactly what works. Step 5. Let's talk about the money. A smart budget isn't about just dumping all your cash into one thing. This chart shows a much more balanced approach. You put a good chunk into high-intent channels like Google Search, for sure, but you also diversify across social media to reach new people, and you save a piece for retargeting to bring back people who've already shown interest. It's like a portfolio strategy, but for your ad spend. And that brings us to the last, and I gotta say, probably the most important step of all, optimization. A campaign is never just done. It's a living, breathing thing. You have to be constantly tracking your results, analyzing the data, and making little tweaks. This continuous loop, this is where the real magic happens. It's how small, consistent improvements build on each other and turn into massive, compounding growth over time. Okay, we've gone through the whole blueprint. For this last section, let's zoom out a bit and see how this all comes together for the long haul, for building a system that really lasts. Look, the real goal here, it's not just about having one profitable campaign. It's about building a data-driven advertising engine for your business. An engine that's resilient, that can handle market shifts and those crazy algorithm changes without totally falling apart, and that just keeps driving growth year after year. And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up the whole mindset, doesn't it? It's not about a single perfect launch. It's all about the process. Every test you run, every ad that fails, every campaign that wins, it all makes the entire engine smarter and better for the next time. So I want to leave you with this one question to think about. After going through all of this today, take a good hard look at your own advertising. Is it just another line item on a spreadsheet, just an expense? Or have you built it to be a true engine for your growth? The choice and the power to build that engine is all yours.